Alright guys, time for a live game. This is an unrated game against a player rated 925 and it's 10 minutes, no increments. So we've gone e4, e5 and now the bishop's opening. Bishop comes flying out. We could find ourselves with a Traxler if he comes down here. What's he going to do? Okay, d3. I have two defenders on that square if I want to strike out now and push, or I can just bring my bishop out. So if I go here, takes, knight takes, no real advantage gained. Let's bring the bishop out. So what are we expecting under the 1000 rating points? Loose grasp of basic tactics, pins, forks, that kind of thing. We'll be starting to look out for those. Possibly a bit of a lack of really considering the consequences of moves and different options with much depth. Okay, so the knight's come out. It's looking at this pawn. The pawn's currently undefended. Could defend with the pawn, but that feels a bit kind of slowish. If the knight comes here, I can always castle, so that's not a problem. So I'm going to play knight c6, because I would rather defend with development than with a pawn push. That still gives me the option to push d5 if I want to. Okay, that seems a bit slow as well. Pawn goes here. I could play my knight in there now, threatening this knight. If he takes, nah. What to do? Let's break in the middle. Let's play d5. Okay, now knight recaptures. Bishop takes, I have queen takes. Otherwise, plan's probably to castle. Maybe bring this bishop out now to pin that guy. Thoughts of maybe attacking him at some point in the future. Okie doke. Alright, so I have bishop here hitting this rook, yeah? Then if knight takes, if knight takes bishop, I've got knight takes in the middle. That's quite a nice square for the knight to be on. So I quite fancy that idea. The other idea is just to drop him back to here. He's still looking at that square. Yeah, I don't really want my bishop off the board yet, so I think dropping back is probably a slightly better move. I'm always trying to think now. I had a chess lesson this morning with my coach. You should always be thinking about playing moves that improve your position. So now I'm going to play my knight in here. Now if he takes, I take with the bishop, and that's much stronger. So now I've got my bishop on this nice, not quite an outpost because he does have c3. Yeah, always be thinking about, does this move improve my position rather than just playing moves to try and annoy your opponent. Ah, yeah, okay, that's a thought. There's a thought, mate. However, do I have this queen there? Can he castle out of trouble? No, because I take the knight. Does he have any checks if the queen goes there? No, he does not. The knight can't check, the bishop can't check. Bishop could capture my knight, but then I capture their knight. This is interesting. It's an interesting little position, this one. Do I have any threats of my own? Got any threats? I'm going to play this and see what he does. If he takes the knight, I can capture, and I'm attacking king and, well, checking the king and attacking the bishop, but then he's got bishop back to e4. Then I can harass the bishop with my bishop. Quite like these two central knights though, and he's still got one parked there. This is intriguing. What are you going to do? That's I think the correct move here. I've also got pawn actually to threaten it as well. Bishop takes, queen takes, bishop there, pawn to f5, attacks the bishop. So I'm hoping that I'm just reading a layer deeper than my opponent. That's what I'm expecting based on his rating, but it would be a mistake to assume that he's not thinking. He's definitely doing something because he's coming up to 3 minutes and we haven't completed the opening yet, so we're kind of on track. Good idea generally to use about a third of your time for the opening, third for the middle, third for the ending. A lot of people spend far too little time on the opening and the ending. So if you rush your opening, you can end up having to spend a lot more time thinking in the middle game because you end up in tactical problems. Right? So it's very, very common to see beginners rush the opening phase and lose advantage, lose momentum, lose initiative, end up blowing tempi because they get kicked about, and then having to really knuckle down in the middle game. And that's not what you want. So this guy here is, coming up 6 minutes on his clock now. So he spent about 90 seconds on this move. And part of that is just to do with experience. I can see that, calculate it, bishop here. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. So now he is... Okay, so now if I take the knight, he's thinking of rook e1 pinning the queen, eh? And I can't block with my knight because rook simply takes. That's a decent move. I didn't even see that one. Okay, now I've got bishop here if I want it. Knight can't go there, can't really go there, can't really go there, can't really go there. Okay, let's develop the bishop. I might even castle long at this rate. But I've got a bit of a time advantage now. I've got a minute more than my opponent. And I don't think there's any increment on this. Okay. Right, this bishop's looking at the knight. Is the knight defended? It is. So I'm just going to push on and castle long. Sanity check first. Sanity check passed. I'm just checking that before I commit to the move that there's no immediate tactics, no kind of one move dangers or threats. Still liking the fact that I've kept this bishop here, you see? It's in line with that king. But it's looking at the f2 pawn, which is currently guarded by the rook. If the rook ever centralizes, maybe that pawn becomes a target, yeah? Okay, starting to push. Push it. Okay, I'm just going to harass the knight. And this is not a weakening move, I know the knight can't go there, or really there, or really there. So what's he got? Not there. Yeah, maybe there. So he's got a couple of options. Just checking what's defended. It's always a good idea. It doesn't take any time at all just to say just to draw with your arrows what's defending what. If you can't draw arrows, check your settings in your game thing. So right button draws arrows and highlights. Yeah, that only works in the browser, doesn't work on the mobile app. It's not an option. And queen's defending that pawn. So I can see that I have coordination here. The only thing that's not defended is, oh no, it is. Look, queen's defending it. So now I know, and I'm doing this on my opponent's time as well, I know that I have coordination. All my pieces are defending each other. And he's got a problem with his knight. Okay, now surely I can just move my bishop here. If he wants to push again, probably just take the c-pawn. If he pushes this one, I'm pushing there. This one's the only real threat. But I could even think about sacrificing my knight here. Pawn takes there. So I've lost the knight for 2 pawns, but I've still got very secure king's area. We like a nice tidy king's area, don't we? Error matron. Yeah, if he does this, I'm sacking my knight. I'm going to make him think. Use the clock against him now. Sack the knight. He'll probably take straight away, but then bishop takes, and then I've got a nice situation where the bishop's there, defended by 2 pawns, also defending both of those pawns, and rock solid. See how I've got all my pieces in the centre? And he's still got the knight still in the box, the queen's still on the back rank. You're going to have to hurry up, buddy. 3 minutes coming up. Ho, 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 what's this? Okay, now, a couple of options. Pawn takes, opens up the king, but it wins a knight. Knight takes, pawn recaptures. Then I've still got a pawn problem. Okay, I'm just going to take the pawn. If he takes back, but knight takes. I'm quite happy there. So I'm going to be up, like, well, 2 pawns. Okay, he's taken my knight with his bishop. This now hits the rook. Okay, he's lashing out now. Okay, so he's taken the knight, which was the only piece that could do that, but drops a rook. So just a general lack of looking at the entire board, right? When this happens, takes. Okay, what changed? What just changed? Right. Okay, well that's the only legal move, I think, because I'm in check. But the queen can't immediately come to here. Alright, so, interesting times. The queen wants to come to here and mate me. Ha! I can always block with the knight. I think I shall. If pawn takes, maybe pawn takes. Get my queen on here. Not too concerned. 2.5 minutes. I did leave that open, but this is the risk, you know, when you play against people who are a lot lower rated than you. It's so tempting to assume that you have the upper hand. To assume that you've thought about more than they've thought. But look, this guy's used 8 minutes of his time. Alright. Uh-huh. Very interesting position now. If I can't go here because bishop takes and I have to just move back. It's pointless. I've got like queen here. Maybe attack this pawn. What's he going to do? He's going to try and capture my knight. If he captures my knight, I can recapture with the queen. I'm 6 points up right now. I've got 3 minor pieces to his 2. I'm a full 2 minor pieces up. So this knight can be sacrificed. That's not a problem. Especially with less than 2 minutes and the clock is ticking. I'd like to rescue that bishop as well if I can. Now, if he's got sense, what he should maybe be thinking about doing is bringing his knight in. And that rook. Okay, I'm going to capture the queen. Give him something to think about. And I'm going to rescue my bishop if I can here. Now he's approaching 1:30. The queen is undefended, so she's either got to trade off or she's got to clear off. What's it going to be? My queen actually can't move because my queen's now pinned. You could push that, but then, hey, queen takes queen. So I nearly came unstuck in this one. But I do have an extra bishop. Do I have an extra bishop? I'm 4 points ahead. I've got an extra rook. That's what it is. I've got an extra rook. He's got an extra pawn. Yeah, I do have the bishop pair, but he's got a knight and a bishop. Okay, just going to grab that. Not even going to think about it. He's down to 43 seconds, so I'm going to force him to use his time to think instead of my time to think. If pawn takes, it makes life a bit better for this bishop here. I can go there. But I think he's disconnected and given up his ambitions of winning the game. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, good. Right. So let's bring my bishop back into the game. Nice to put the bishop here, just put paid to any ideas of this pawn coming forward, which I don't think is a real threat anyway, but 12 seconds now and he's going to run out of time. Decent game though. 4, 3, 2, ha. Okay, do that. Okay, and the clock has run out. So, 1 on time. Decent game. Let's quickly review. Bishop's game. Right, that's kind of quiet. Now I strike out in the middle, knowing that I've got enough. Okay. Now, bishop d4 was an option there. Bishop running away here was an option. But I just wanted to keep it in line with that square on g1. He pushes, I push back. Right, he grabs a pawn. So what this is called deflecting the defender. So he's basically removing the only defender of this pawn, which I didn't spot. And knight's gone there. He grabs a pawn. I pin the knight, assuming that he would capture this undefended knight, but he found a different move, castled, and now I can't just grab the knight because I would have fallen to a pin. So decent play there. He's under 6 minutes at this point. So I break the pin and also break my attack on the knight. Now he's attacking this guy, but that's okay. So I castle. Now he starts his assault down that side of the board. I think capturing the knight here as well would have been perfectly playable. And pawn takes, actually knight takes, that would have been fine, absolutely fine. Would hang that pawn though. Okay, so I move the bishop out of harm's way. And now we have a trade, and here he missed the fact that his rook was hanging. But has some counterplay. Now I sacrifice my knight. Back it up with the queen, takes, and this is all fine. Because now with less than a minute on the clock, I really don't have anything to worry about. I just block up the position and let my opponent run out of time. And that's all that happens. So there you go, nice little live game. I'm actually away for a couple of days, going camping with my son. So won't be back until Sunday, so I just thought I'd chuck out another video in case you guys fancied watching even more Chess Boot Camp. But thanks for watching the video, thanks for all your support, really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.